Hello, welcome back to Learn Economy. Having discussed the Hickesian theory of trade cycle, let's understand the aspect or contribution given by Samuelson or the views taken by Samuelson with respect to trade cycle. Here we are going to deal with the Samuelson's multiplier accelerator interaction model in order to understand Samuelson's theory of trade cycle. The principle of acceleration working by itself is perhaps not much forceful, but recently it has attained more importance, especially when it comes to trade cycle theory, by its alliance with the multiplier principle. It was Professor Samuelson who has built a model of multiplier accelerator interaction, and he could show that the interaction of accelerator with multiplier is capable under certain circumstances of generating continuous cyclical fluctuations. After Samuelson, Higgs, Harrod, Hansen, etc., they have made some fairly successful attempts in order to integrate the two concepts and thus introduce remarkable improvements in the theory of economic growth. We have already discussed the Higgsian analysis of trade cycle. So if you have not watched that video, I request you to watch that. I'll be providing the link of the same in the description box. It is therefore quite interesting and useful to analyze the combined effects of multiplier and accelerator on national income propagation. The combined effects of autonomous and induced investment are expressed in what Hansen has called as a super multiplier. Now, Samuelson has derived the super multiplier as follows. That is, YT is equal to CT plus IT, which means that YT is the total income of the economy is equal to consumption plus investment. Income in period T equals consumption in period T minus 1 plus investment in period T, that is YT is equal to BT minus 1 plus IT, where B is the marginal propensity to consume in period T minus 1. Investment in period T is partly autonomous and partly induced, that is, some part of it is independent of income, whereas some part is entirely dependent upon income. The induced investment depends upon the changes in consumption, which in turn depends upon the changes in income, and therefore it could be expressed as IT is equal to IA plus ID. IA is the autonomous investment and ID is the induced one. IA plus V into CT minus CT minus 1, which is equal to IA plus V into B, YT minus 1 minus YT minus 2. So that's the equation number 3. This expression, the equation number 3, it tells us that changes in net investment and hence income for period T can be estimated as a weight sum, the weights being the values of marginal efficiency of capital, and V, that is the capital output ratio. Professor Higgs has called the joint interaction of marginal efficiency of capital as well as the the marginal propensity to consume and the capital output ratio as the super multiplier and the use to build up the theory of trade cycle. So I have mistakenly told that B is equal to the marginal efficiency to consume. So no, it is the marginal propensity to consume. Okay, please make it clear. B stands for marginal propensity to consume. Now, super multiplier is equal to 1 minus S minus V, where which is where you could see the accelerator multiplier interaction, the speed of with which income increases as a result of this interaction, and this depends inversely on the marginal propensity to save and directly on the value of the acceleration coefficient. V is the acceleration coefficient or the capital output ratio, and S stands for marginal propensity to save, and B is the marginal propensity to consume. Okay, the lower the value of MPS and higher the value of accelerator, that means the greater is the speed with which changes in the net investment are multiplied into changes in the income. We could show the working of multiplier accelerator by looking at the table. Here you could see the interaction of multiplier accelerator. In the first column you can see the multiplier, and second column initial outlay consumption, third induced investment, fourth induced net national product, and the last column, the fifth column, shows the total increase in income. So in this table you can see the process of income propagation through the multiplier acceleration interaction. First of all, we have to assume two things. First of all, the MPC is half, that is 0.5, and secondly the acceleration coefficient or the capital output ratio is 2. Now, in the first period, there is an initial outlay of 10 rupees 10 crores, and this would lead to any in this would actually this is the initial outlay. As a result, this won't lead to any induced investment. Hence, the total rise in the income would be 10 crores. That is, the initial outlay would be equal to the initial outlay. The initial outlay of 10 crores here in the absence of induced investment would be equal to the rise in the national income, that is 10 crores. Now, what will happen if the marginal propensity to consume is 0.5? Here the induced consumption in the period is 5 crores and the acceleration coefficient being 2, the induced investment in the second period would be 10 crores and the total leverage effect would be total increase in the national income, that is 25 crores, rupees 25 crores. That is what you could see from the table. Now, in the third period, we get the increased consumption of 12.50 crores and the induced net investment is equal to 15 crores. And this is the difference between 12.50 crores and 5 crores in column 3. Here, the total income in the fourth period, it has reached the peak level of 41.25 crore. And you could see that as a result of the combined effect of multiplier and accelerator, there would be the effect of super multiplier. In the fifth period, the marginal income increases but starts falling off. It falls to rock bottom of 1.2 crores in the 8th period, and then again it starts rising in the 9th period from 2 crores to 12 crores. It would go up to 26 crore in the 11th period, then by completing a cycle. But if you go on calculating the multiplier acceleration effect, you can see that in various columns you get we get the result, which is quite a moderate type of recurring cycle which repeats itself indefinitely. And if we show the values of income and time periods on a graph, we could see that a regular trade cycle will be there, and this could be shown that if the MPC is less than unity, then if that is the case, then you can answer to a critical question: why does cumulative process come to an end before a complete collapse or full employment? Hansen has opinion that rise in income progressively slows down on account of the fact that there would be large part of increase in income in each successive period, and this is not spent on consumption. And this results in decline in the volume of induced investment. As a result, such a decline exceeds the increase in induced consumption and there would be decline in income. Thus, it is a marginal propensity to say which calls a halt to the expansion on the top of the multiplier process. So we could see that we have to assume that the constant values of multiplier and accelerator are in the table, but we have to understand that in the dynamic economy these values are not constant, it would vary. When we study the result of leverage effects or interaction of the multiplier and accelerator coefficients or the super multiplier, we have to understand that these vary cyclically. We find that the levels of income will be subject to various types of fluctuations depending upon the values of the acceleration and multiplier. As per Samuelson, he has attempted to combine different values of multiplier and accelerator to analyze the nature of income streams generated by them. He could find that 4 types of fluctuations are obtained when the super multiplier is given different values. First of all, so these in the graph you would see, or in the figure you could see these 4 types of fluctuations. First of all, you could see that in the analysis of the process of multiplier accelerator interaction, the values which we assumed are of great importance, and if the value of K and A are high, income would rise continuously at an ever increasing rate and there would be no downturn and therefore no cycle. The path would be similar to curve A in the figure. At the opposite extreme, you could see that low values of accelerator will also fail to generate a cycle, and income will merely converge to new equilibrium level which would have been achieved by operation of the multiplier around and will stay there. The accelerator will work to make income grow faster during the initial stage of expansion, but it will be not that strong enough to alter the eventual outcome. If you look at figure B, you could see that, or curve B, if you look at curve B, you could see that if trade cycles are to be generated, it is necessary that the values of multiplier and accelerator is between certain upper and lower extreme. 3 other distinct types of cycles may be generated as per the relative values of both multiplier and accelerator, and if the accelerator is small relatively to multiplier, the oscillations will be damped. That is, they would become weaker and weaker and eventually die away altogether. This will lead income constant, especially at the central value. In the curve C, this kind of fluctuation is seen. High values of accelerator give rise to explosive fluctuations, and the cycles would become stronger and stronger in the figure D. And third type of cycle is perfectly regular one, exemplified by curve E, where the cycle is regular as it is having equal periodicity and amplitude. Coming to Samuelson's classification of the region of different cycles, we have seen that the multiplier and accelerator would work, but Samuelson went further and showed that with different combinations of the value of multiplier and accelerator, it is possible to get income fluctuations. And in a much quoted article, Interaction Between Multiplier Analysis and Principle of Acceleration, he showed that with different values of MPC and this capital output ratio, it is possible from a continued injection of public investment to get 5 different types of cycle. We could express MPC as alpha and capital output coefficient as beta to look at 5 different combinations. In the first case, alpha is equal to 0.5 and beta is equal to 0. Here the acceleration coefficient is 0, and this case of fluctuations having multiplier effect only, where income approaches an asymptotic level. In the combination 2, alpha is equal to 0.5 and beta is equal to 1. This would give damped oscillations. And in the third case, you could see that the region C, there would be regular or continuous cycle about the multiplier level more or less unchanged, values repeating themselves indefinitely. In combination 4, alpha is equal to 0.6 and beta is equal to 3 is equal to 2. Here the explosive cycles will result. This is the region D. If you summarize the result, you could see that above region A, multiplier effect only, where value of P is 0. In this case, with a constant level of public expenditure, the national income would reach its peak through the multiplier only. That is, there would be only alpha. Region B shows damped oscillation, C shows explosive oscillation, and D shows increasing national income approaching compound rate of growth. The essence is that multiplier and accelerator would interact, and this is capable of generating various types of trade cycles. These cycles of fluctuations are varying periodicity and amplitude, and if we are able to find out the interacting values of multiplier and accelerator in practice, we can ascertain for ourselves the nature of income fluctuations we are likely to experience in the absence of exogenous restraints. As per Hicks, the mechanism for building up a theory of trade cycle explains behavior of business cycle around a rising trend of income. Coming to the importance of Samuelson analysis of trade cycle, the multiplier accelerator interaction assumes great importance, especially when it comes to the trends analysis, that is the rate at which the national income rises through these effects. In the first place, you can see that the study of this interaction has paved a way for more accurate analysis of the nature of the cyclical process, and this shows the possibility to explain the turning points in business cycle without resorting to special explanation, and the factors MPC, and the capital output ratio are very important. The acceleration principle, as per Keynes, was based on Say's law, wherein increase in the investment and decrease in the rate of consumptions would lead to a similar decline in the investment, which he called the cumulative expansion or contraction without limit. Thus, the pre-Keynesian theory of acceleration gave an aggregated picture of instability. But with the introduction of the concept of multiplier and consumption function, long sought for limits to fluctuations short of zero were found. Keynes' concept of consumption function has brought forward the true significance of acceleration principle for business cycle analysis. And it shows that it's a combination of multiplier and accelerator which seems to be capable of producing cyclical fluctuations. The multiplier alone produces no cycles from a given impulse. You have to have both acceleration as well as multiplier. It only gradually increases some income to constant level if you have multiplier alone. But if the principle of acceleration, if you introduce the same, the result would be a series of oscillations. And accelerator, the first carry total income above the level, but the rate of increase of income diminishes and the accelerator induces a downturn which would carry total income below the multiplier level and then up again and so on. This will go on and on. Coming to the limitations of this particular analysis, you can see that the casual student of multiplier accelerator interaction might feel that it is very easy to raise the economy out of the depth of depression by just giving a small increase in your autonomous investment. But this would stimulate consumption by a multiplier effect, which would then induce further investment and national income. Such a belief is a illusion, great illusion. However, you have to understand that. So in actual practice, the interaction does not work, especially for growth, and it is responsible for fluctuations on the path of movement of national income to higher and higher levels, and it's not work for growth, and it is responsible for fluctuations on the path of movement of national income from one level to another. The interaction would definitely lead to cyclical fluctuations, and if you overlook the same, this would work in the actual determination of total income, because there would be interaction of multiplier and accelerator. So that's all. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos, and also you are welcome to my Telegram group and Telegram channel to discuss your doubts.